There's a guy, somebody texted in the first segment, man, this show has gotten worse and worse. And Solana texted the guy back. Funny you say that. The ratings have never been higher. And that's actually not a joke. In fact, I was speaking with Len, our program director, Tuesday. On Tuesday, the October ratings came out. And it's the best that we've had since like 2014. I'm talking the radio station as a whole and our show in particular. And I don't sing the praises of ratings because sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. And so it just is what it is. We have definitive, download numbers and streaming numbers. Like we could see actual hours when it comes to rating, and ratings a little more nebulous nowadays because now, so many parts of what, we can see how people listen to us are actual finite, definite numbers, and ratings are always, one person represents whatever. But it is the highest ratings we've had in almost a decade. And so Solana responded to the guy, highest ratings we have. And then I jumped on Solana's response. I said, by the way, Solana's not lying. Highest ratings since 2014. I said, sometimes bad is good. And I just kind of was goofing. So the guy texted back, higher ratings because of the 200,000 plus people who have moved into South Florida from other states. They ain't higher because it's better, buddy. Trust me. And I almost couldn't contain myself because I text the guy back. I go, yeah, that's what happens usually. People move to a new state. They fire up their AM radio and see what's on in AM afternoon drive. And most people, when they move to a new state, they check out their AM radio stations. And they are immediately given a meter from Arbitron when you cross the state line. Arbitron is there to greet you with a ratings meter and a new AM radio. And I'm like, and I've gotten doozies over the 25 years in radio. I said, sir, this is the funniest effing text I have received in 20 years. Can you imagine? If there are 200,000 people who have moved to South Florida since I don't know whenever, 0 of them have found our AM radio show.
Not nail one.
0.
People are so funny.
The funniest damn text I've ever read.
It's 305.
Dale.
God bless.
Dale.
Thank you, farts.
You're welcome, Mark Fartman. You almost messed me up there, man.
How do you feel if your new nickname was Fart?
That's not good, Jimmy.
Funny. Anyway, no, we appreciate everyone listening, and we do see the download numbers and the hours, actual hours that are spent listening to our show in the various formats. It's super successful. I think the show sounds great. You don't have to. That I'm not arguing with. Like I always tell people, they go, oh, this is terrible. Like, why do you have Gelb on? Or Don Bailey Jr. is coming on this hour. Why do you have DBJ on? This guy's terrible. He's a Hurricanes apologist. And I was like, not everything's going to be for you. Like you can tune out. That doesn't bother me. I'm sure the pivot, like there are some episodes that are super successful and popular, other ones that aren't as viewed. There's not something that's popular for everyone at all times.
To that point, I tried to watch Friends. I didn't get it, but I understand how great the show is. That's what you have to understand, Texter.
Yeah. So it doesn't bother me. By the way, there's times where I think a show was great and then has fallen off. And that happens with every show. Like you may have listened for several years and now it doesn't appeal to you. And that's fine. That happened to me with Howard Stern. I listen to Howard Stern all the time. I don't even subscribe to the Howard channel on my Sirius XM anymore. I had just stopped listening. Doesn't mean that I don't appreciate what he did, how entertaining he was. Like after 40 years or whatever, I was done with it. I just found the explanation that everyone moving to South Florida is now listening to our show. This is just the most ridiculous thing I've ever been texted.
Forensic Files for me.
Anyway, Forensic Files. I don't want that.
I used to love the Forensic Files, and then after about 90 episodes, you find out, oh, there's going to be some blood somewhere, and they're going to find out it was the nurse. Like, I don't watch it anymore.
It happens that like every, my wife watches Below Deck. I got caught up in one season, but then now she's like, oh, it's the next season. I go, but we know what's going to happen. Like, I know what's going to happen. Customers are going to come on. Some of them are going to be a-holes. Some of them are going to be nice. Couple people are going to hook up, and then there's going to be some drama, and then they're back in port.
People hate me about this Game of Thrones, Hawk. When I say watch the first 2 seasons, then watch 8, because 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 are just incest and people killing each other, and a dragon every now and a dragon every. The dragon should be the main event. They bring on a dragon once every 4 episodes.
But see, that happens to be a bad take because
here you
the
go.
first 6 seasons of Game of Thrones may actually be the greatest TV show ever in the history of TV. It may be, it's up there, but the final 2 seasons, especially the last one, are the 2 worst seasons in the history of television.
Are you grading on a curve? They're bad because the first 6 seasons were so good.
Yes, and because the first 6 seasons of Game of Thrones, dialogue is so important. Them going from city to city, it would take them episodes to get there, traveling in between, and there was so many storylines in between. And then the final 2 seasons, they're just trying to wrap up the show. It's so evident while they're filming their Starbucks cups that you can see in the background.
I remember seeing that one. That was funny.
It takes a person, what would have taken them 2-3 episodes to get from King's Landing to Winterfell, it takes them 7 seconds to do that. Like, it was really, really bad. Really
Solana,
bad.
Beautiful monologue you just had, and it proves Hawk and my point. It's all opinion. That whole thing you said was an opinion about how great it is to get to Winterfell, to Santo Domingo, wherever they're going. That's an opinion.
Yeah, Santo Domingo. I also love that Hawk has an issue with Below Deck because he knows what's going to happen, and he binges air disasters. And hey, Hawk, we know what's going to happen in air disasters.
The same argument that Lori gives me when I say, oh, my God, because she watches these shows on HGTV. And it's when I tell you it's the same thing, these brothers are going to fix something up. They're going to flip it. And I don't know. And I go, how can you watch that again? She goes, you watch Dateline every night. Guess what? Someone's going to be murdered. They're going to lead you to believe it was someone else. And then all of a sudden at the end, you're going to find out it was actually somebody different who committed the murder.
You like Dateline? Check out this Forensic Files then. You're going to love it.
Now, I will tell you, most of that stuff is opinion. Friends is fact, and you're just completely wrong on that one.
I don't know. It's not for me because it's an opinion.
It is.
Great show.
Thank you, Jimmy. Thanks, Farts.
Farts. We're usually on the same page.